Let me give you a really powerful insight on food and eating. If you think of it, you can only eat this much at this time. So there's a storage capacity in a sense. And before you can add some more data, information, in a sense, some of that data that has been stored needs to be removed so other takes place. Now you don't have to do anything, although you may want to do some form of activity so that it goes more smoothly, like a walk, for example. Don't just lay in your bed playing dead after you've ate, because you should eat for energy, not for energy depletion, because the food is energy. You shouldn't be consumed and turn into a depletion of energy, a lack of energy. It shouldn't be that. Now I understand why it is the case nowadays, because the food that we consume nowadays, it's killed in a sense. It's dead. When we cook it, when we actually kill it, as in animals, and then we eat them, the food is dead. So obviously it's gonna leave us feeling dead, not alive. But getting back to it, let's say if you eat a meal right now, for the next 3 to 6 hours, depending on what you eat, your storage will be full in a sense, and it's gonna start deleting, processing, filtering out, but it's gonna take time. And in that time, how are you gonna feel with doing whatever you will choose to do in terms of activity, like physical activity or mental activity? Whatever you choose to do, how well will you perform? That's decided upon the nourishment that you've got from the food that you ate. So if you use that limited storage in that period of time, eating junk food, eating takeaways, eating chocolates, eating a lot of sugar, you may have a blood sugar spike, but that's only gonna leave you more drained afterwards. If you don't eat food that has life within, that has life enzymes, like fruits, vegetables, I would really emphasize on fruits. Maybe some nuts, go for it. Maybe some oats, go for it. But if you don't use that limited storage wisely, the way you're gonna perform is gonna be highly impacted in a positive or negative way, depending on whatever you consume, whatever you choose to eat. So do understand that whatever you choose to eat at one time is gonna take a while in which you will not be able to remove whatever you've put in, whatever you've taken in terms of nutrition, in terms of food, in terms of chemicals, in terms of substances. Whatever you've chosen to put into your system is gonna be there, it's gonna become a part of you, and it's gonna take a while to be processed. And whatever you're gonna be left with out of all of that, and whatever is gonna be waste, is gonna be determined by the quality of the food that you eat, as well as by the nature of the food that you eat. Is it part of the nature, or is it part of the animal species? Is it part of the processing, manufacturing industries? It should be part of the nature. As long as it's part of the nature, as long as it's something that grows out of the soil and you could just pick it up and eat it straight away, that's what I would encourage you to go for, in a raw, organic, unprocessed form, if possible. If not, well, it's a life experience. It's long enough for you to get to terms with whatever is best for you, and to get to choose more wisely, and not wait until something detrimental happens to you before you choose to wake up and make up your mind around the food, around the chemicals, around the substances and the toxins, if applicable, that come into your system. You can choose. It's yours. This is yours. You are the operator. How do you choose to operate it? How do you choose to feed it? You can choose the nourishment, or you can choose that which, instead of fueling up, is gonna take away the energy instead of adding more energy. And the more you abuse the storage, the more the storage is going to become dusty, troublesome, and you're not going to be able to use that storage to its full capacity. It's going to become dim, it's going to become slow. And to speak in real terms, well, you may come with some colon problems, you may come with some digestive issues, some IBS, some abdominal issues, any type of health condition that is classified as being a cause to eating disorders or allergens, or you know the whole story. Well, I just left this here with you just so you know, just to make you aware that you can only eat this much at this time, and it's your choice. You have the power to choose over your compulsions, over your habits, over the way that you've been used and thought to eat and consume. You have the power to change the direction in which you are heading. Are you heading towards a life of fulfillment, of bliss, of joy, of peace, of equanimity, of harmony with everything around you? Or are you heading towards a life full of diseases, full of darkness, full of emotional disorders, full of mood swings, full of bipolars, full of ADHD? Because yes, food affects the way you are. Whatever you consume becomes a part of you. So everything that you're gonna consume is gonna manifest itself in a way or another through you. The way your presence is gonna change according to what you consume. If you choose to consume life, you will become more alive, and you will be able to radiate that life, the energy around you. Otherwise, you can become a disease and just infect everyone around you with whatever diseases you are carrying, even if you possibly are sensitive enough and you wouldn't want to expose yourself like that around anyone, even if you are like really compassionate and empathetic, and you still find yourself that you've messed up yourself because you've consumed the wrong things. Well, this isn't really gonna change anything. It's just gonna make you more sad, more depressed. The change that needs to happen is around the food that you consume. The way I've fixed my eating habits and eating disorders was through just looking at everything that was available to me, just going into a supermarket, just going to a local market and just looking around and saying, I can have all of that. I can have any of that can be mine right now, right? But I only choose to take a few bananas, a few mangoes, a few seeds, a few nuts, a few spirulina powders and the good stuff, maybe some ginger, maybe some turmeric, maybe I'll make some tea to cleanse, to detox. And I started doing that day after day, one day after another, just going to that market and looking around and saying, well, I can have anything that I want, but I only choose what's best for me. I no longer choose to have something just because I can have it, but instead I will consciously, wisely go after that which I know that it serves me, which I know that's good for me, that's gonna make me blossom, that's gonna make me flourish. And that's all I gotta say about food, to be fair. And the water as well. The water should have calcium, magnesium, phosphorus. I don't think this water contains all the minerals that a water should have, but even so, this water is pretty decent. It's got quite a few minerals and vitamins. Just the water that you drink can be very, and should actually be highly nutritious. Around 50% or even more than 50% of your diet could be simply water. Because if you could go and get the nutrition, the proper nutrition, just from drinking water, the natural sourced water, not tap water, because tap water is filtered. It doesn't have any form of nutrition whatsoever. It may have fluoride, right? But if you consider that to be nutrition, I suggest you look it up. You look up what fluoride actually does to you when you consume it. How it keeps your pineal gland from being activated, from being used, your connection to the spiritual world. I was still wondering why tap water it's distributed by the local government or whatever. Well, because you shouldn't be awoke. You should be dormant. You should be like a zombie, just walking around, having no connection with the spiritual world. Well, it's time for you to wake up. Get some natural sourced water with a decent pH level and with plenty of nutrition and with no added fluoride. And you can also look up your toothpaste. Does it have any fluoride? It better not have any. I'm telling you, I'm just leaving this here for you. It's all love if you make it. I'm walking towards it. Obviously not on the actual walk that I'm just having right now. But in life I chose to walk towards love. And that's what changed the whole game. Get out in nature and get the balance right before it gets you.